Hello, welcome to Backlinking, the PKM podcast. If you're new to the podcast, this is the podcast where I talk about things happening in the productivity space and thoughts around productivity and productivity apps, mainly in general. And in today's podcast episode, I wanted to talk about an application I almost never cover, and I probably should cover a lot more, and I will. We are talking about Goodnotes and how they silently built this huge note-taking app, or not only note-taking app but note-taking powerhouse. Like, if you're looking for a note-taking app that works with a stylus, I actually use my, if I can find them here, my actual notebooks, pen and paper. But if you're looking for something that feels a lot like pen and paper and you want some of the digital stuff like searchability, and you use an iPad, for example, I use a stylus on my laptop. Goodnotes is great with styluses. This is clearly like the best application out there for that use case. I haven't found anyone even getting close. And let's just talk about some of the new features they've added. So previously you had a Windows application, you had an iOS app, you had the iPad app, you also had Android apps and Mac as well. But there was one huge issue, and that huge issue was that there was no sync between like iOS and Apple devices and Windows and Android. They had to, because their syncing worked over iCloud, so they had to build their own like cloud infrastructure to get that to work. That has been something they've now added. They have the cloud systems, and that means that there is a sync between devices. It isn't currently fully out, I think. It at least wasn't when I tested out the application uh, a while back. But that is something they are building out. It was in early stage beta, I think. But they have added a bunch more stuff. So they have added actually canvases, literal whiteboards, which seems to be the thing for 2025. Every application has built some sort of whiteboards, and having that in a place like Goodnotes, which like a lot of especially students and also a lot of people generally use, and it works really well with the stylus. Now add on top of that a whiteboard that can actually also work with a stylus. I feel like the main thing I do and I prefer pen and paper for is actually things like whiteboarding. So Goodnotes adding a whiteboard actually makes a lot of sense. They've also added text documents, just like you would have in something like Word. You have that inside of Goodnotes as well, like just regular old text documents. It also looks uh, a lot like Word when you look at um, how the application and the user interface of those text documents actually look. For those of you watching, I have it right here. So this is how it looks. You have like a top bar with a bunch of different tools, exactly like Word. Basically, it uses a lot of the same interface. Doesn't have the same toolbar or the same tools, but it looks really similar. But the interface on both the whiteboard and also the documents is really intuitive, and it is something that makes sense to me, even as someone used uh, who hasn't used Goodnotes before. I would easily just plug and play this. And they've also added something called Goodnotes Pro. It is an optional upgrade, and it gives you collaboration. So basically what they're saying here is that they've added collaboration. I think collaboration is important for an application like Goodnotes for multiple different reasons. One is for educators, and Also for businesses, I think more and more businesses are trying to, in the age of AI, trying to digitize more of their stuff. Like I know myself and a lot of other still choose to use notebooks for like taking notes. It is just much easier to take notes, and I've heard like stories about different different businesses trying to do this more digitally, like in OneNote. I know that a lot of companies use the Microsoft ecosystem and then they use OneNote. I don't think OneNote is as good as GoodNotes, but with the ability of like GoodNotes Pro and collaboration features, GoodNotes actually becomes a better much better choice for businesses as well. But also, if you are a student and you just want to collaborate on things with your classmates, it makes sense to now go for the GoodNotes Pro. You also have GoodNotes AI, and AI is really hard. I have mixed feelings about AI, but they have added their like collaborator or create with you type of AI, which I won't dive too much into, but there are a couple of things you can do with this. Like instead of starting from a blank page, you can actually get the AI to start for you, and you can build on top of that. You can get your work polished, like fixing grammar issues, things like that. There are a few things that it can do, and it can also be used for things like maths. I would never use it for that because I prefer not to do any maths. But you also have GoodNotes AI for meetings, which actually record your meetings and transcribe and summarizes your meetings. This brings me back to my last point where like we're talking about the use case for businesses. Meeting notes is a huge thing. Like I have a lot of meetings, but also for individuals within a business. Imagine you are a developer or you're someone that has like daily stand-up meetings. I have them. I'm not a developer, but I still have them. Getting the ability to just have your iPad there and recording the meeting instead of having to type everything makes things a lot easier. And it is also really important to have like everything in one application because it can easily be annoying to move things between different applications, especially for businesses now working towards AI. There is a huge problem, or working towards the AI age, there is a huge problem with applications like information being everywhere, like within 10, 15, 20 applications. That isn't unusual. So if you're able to limit the amount of applications you're using, it makes a lot of sense. And also for students as well, I've seen applications like Tana, for example, a heavy like AI outliner note-taking app, uh, lean more heavily towards students. And I saw a video where like people would record their lectures and then use the AI to discuss those lectures, but just the ability to record them meant that you would always be able to go back to them. So things like that is also really important for GoodNotes to like implement AI stuff so that they don't fall too far behind. And uh, just a quick summary of everything I've gone through, and also a little bit around the AI credits. We have added, they've added AI stuff, basically just AI chat, and also the transcription. You also have the team working stuff, collaboration and team working. You have the documents and the whiteboards, which I think is the most interesting. And with all of that, I think like GoodNotes has started to build a big presence, not only for people in the productivity space, but also for people in like people in the PKM space as well, I think this becomes a better PKM choice. I think the pricing here is also worth looking at, because you have the free tier, which is still there. You have the essential plan, which gives you things like unlimited files. I can actually bring this up for you. This is still in light mode, but I will bring it up here. So you have, for those of you listening, you have the essential plan with like unlimited files, all note-taking tools, so nothing to limit you on the note-taking. You get unlimited audio recording and transcription, which is currently only available on iOS. You get exclusive downloadable templates, limited Goodnotes AI, and you also get AI for Matt, which is also currently still available on iOS. You can get more AI by paying the AI pass, which it seems like that is also currently iOS only. But the yearly payment for everything except for the extra AI stuff is still $11.99. They have a pro plan which gives you AI Q&A. You get sync across Apple, Windows, Android, and web. It is still limited in availability, as I mentioned, but it will soon be out for all subscribers. That is $35.99 yearly. You get everything. You also get like things like Google Calendar and Drive integration, private link sharing, real-time collaboration. You get the Goodnotes AI stuff. So AI Q&A, AI format, content generation, and co-editing. For meetings, AI summarization, and AI enhanced meeting minutes. So you get that as well. And all of that you're getting for $35.99. It doesn't say that the AI format is limited to iOS only on the Pro plan, but that is because the Pro plan is iOS only. I wasn't able to see that, but that is iOS only. Actually, the pricing seems a little weird here, because it seems like it is iOS only, but you only get the sync between iOS, Windows, Android, and web through the Pro. So I guess you will have to pay for this if you have an iOS device and you want to sync that to an Android device or to Windows. So that is $35.99, and you also have the $35.99 one-time plan, but you don't get cloud AI cross-platform access, and you will still have to pay extra for the AI stuff. I'm sure they will add more towards Windows and Androids as we go. They just have to get things to work. But they also have Teams plans, which I think is important to take a look at, because I've mentioned that I think Teams is really important for them. So I won't go too deep into like how the Teams plans looks, but I just wanted to mention that they have that as well. And all of this brings me back to my point, which is that Goodnotes has built like whiteboards, great note taking with a stylus. They now have added documents, which makes them a full-fledged note taking app. Like I could use this as someone who is really into PKM, personal knowledge management, because it has all of the same features and sometimes more features than in my other applications. Like a lot of people use Apple Notes, for example, for as their second brain. A lot of people use something like Twos. I'm not saying that they are bad applications; they are great. But let's say you wanted to use a stylus, but you previously also wanted to be able to write in text documents. You can do that now, and you can also use the whiteboards. There are just a lot of things that Goodnotes are doing that is great, and you now also have the collaboration features. I just think that Goodnotes, especially in the PKM space, goes a little under the radar. Like they keep adding a lot of great stuff. The adding of sync took a while, but like they added it in the end, and whiteboards and text documents. You were at least I was able to write on a Windows PC using my keyboard instead of using a stylus previously. But text documents is a little different. It is literal text documents. Um, but that's beside the point. My point is just that a lot of the things that Goodnotes adds, a lot of the really cool stuff that it adds, it goes under the radar for most people. I've always thought that like Goodnotes AI has been really good. They have had some AI stuff even previous to the things they've added now, but generally I feel like Goodnotes has added so much cool, great stuff, like so many things that I just really like that has, in my opinion, just gone under the radar. And I know that a lot of people don't like the subscription model. I think it makes sense, especially if you're adding AI and you suddenly have syncing and cloud infrastructure. The subscription makes a lot of sense. It has been there for a while now, but I just wanted to mention that it makes a lot of sense for them to have this subscription and the way it is, not only just having a subscription, but also having it the way that it is. I love the fact that you have to pay extra for an AI pass for more AI stuff instead of increasing the pricing, which a lot of other applications seem to do. The best thing, in my opinion, would probably be integrations, something I think will come in the future. But right now, everyone just seems to be adding AI. But that isn't a Goodnotes problem, that is a general problem. I just wanted to make this podcast and talk a little bit about Goodnotes because I think it is such an underrated application in the personal knowledge management and productivity space. It is also great if you want to do things like bullet journaling. I've seen a lot of great bullet journaling templates. I've even considered making some bullet journaling templates because I've paid for Goodnotes for a couple of years now and almost never used it, which is a little weird. Um, but I always have this idea of like, I will sit down and I will write with my iPad. Never happens. And I have the same idea every year. I prefer pen and paper personally, but I know a lot of people prefer the digital features that come with something like GoodNotes. So just wanted to quickly do a podcast about how GoodNotes has just gone under the radar in the productivity space. I think that covers it for today's episode. If you have any questions, leave them down below. I will try to get to them as soon as I can. Thank you so much for watching or listening to today's episode.